become kind of their own little entity, so to speak. And then the one we did yesterday, the segment about coaches, tenure, and staying in one place, and we were discussing that, got a lot of play on what was later on up on YouTube. And one of the names we did mention, but it was a little bit later in the conversation, about Mike Gundy as someone who was stuck, even though his name has been up, sometimes maybe from his agent or even his interest, but he's been around a long, long time. But one name in which we did not mention, which, and again, it wasn't because we were wrong, was Kyle Whittingham at Utah.
Oh, yeah. Kyle Whittingham's been there, since the day Urban Meyer left to go to Florida. And that's been a long time. That's been 3 Urban Meyer jobs ago that Kyle Whittingham has been there. And, he's done an excellent job. And, they're contending look to contend to the conference crown again in the Pac-12 this year. So, yeah, forgot him. That's certainly a really good one to mention. Back on Mike Gundy, I think that the Arkansas job is settled now. Takes away the one that everybody was afraid he would go to, because that's a pretty close move geographically, where he could still essentially recruit in the same spots he was, but maybe hit some bigger home runs because of the SEC. But now that Arkansas is kind of stable with Sam Pittman, maybe there's less panic from Oklahoma State fans about him leaving. But he does have that lifetime contract plus a year or whatever it is.
His name has come up on occasion, and I would see why. I can see why.
Well, a lot of it had to do with him and T-Bone not seeing eye to eye, but T-Bone passed, so, that's, out of the way. But if you'll remember when the whole I'm a man, I'm 40 thing, and then, shortly after that, him and T-Bone were getting into it, and Gundy was going to go to, Tennessee? Mm-hmm. Remember all that jazz? Yeah. That was a whole thing, and ultimately he just stayed where he was, and the rest is history. But, Mike Gundy certainly deserves to be mentioned as, one of those guys. But if in that same, speaking about him, yes, Kyle Whittingham does deserve to be mentioned as well as a long mainstay somewhere who hasn't maybe quite got over the top, but has had tremendous success. Yeah,
I agree. And so we should have mentioned him. It wasn't that we were looking for every name, but that's a name that should pop to mind. And that's kind of especially last year, they played in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And the great run. The quarterback changed immediately. And I
watched a lot of them.
Holy crap, they had Ohio State in trouble throughout most of that game, too.
That was an incredible game. And, they made